Emisión.net.
Hello again and welcome to Letter from England, broadcasting for AC Press and the Spanish Evangelical Alliance. This week a motion has been tabled for debate in the Spanish Parliament to do with the Great Apes International Project. The aim, and I quote, is to broaden fraternity and the moral community to include animals, which they understand are genetically and in evolutionary terms closest to man. It reminds me, I have to say, of what someone once said, that if random mutations had occurred differently, apes might be running the planet and humans would be in the zoo. Well, if this motion becomes law, we might find ourselves in the zoo sooner than we think. I should think that the average chimpanzee could make a pretty good case for locking the average human up. But the idea rather ignores the fact that scientists discovered only recently that we're actually closer genetically to mice than to chimps. And I think one could argue that there are potentially better candidates for intelligent creatures, such as dolphins, to go no further. But of course the debate raises the issue, what is the difference between people and animals? It's all very well to see certain superficial likenesses or similarities between perhaps apes and humans, or perhaps even other types of animal and people. But remove God and his image, as the Bible tells us that we were made in God's image. Remove his creative purpose for man from the picture, and you're struggling to explain it. Yes, you can talk about the ability to reason things, our decision-making powers, our moral nature, conversational skills, and so on. But many people, especially perhaps those who are lonely or don't fit easily into social networks, will say that they find greater loyalty, trust, and even companionship in a pet than in other people. Now, the Bible does not diminish animals, but rather it elevates people. We can see this more fully in the creation of Eve, that no help meet was found for Adam amongst all the animals. It's almost as if God lined them all up before him, and as they passed by and he gave them names, it was God showing Adam, no, none of these are suitable. See, they're very different from you. And then he made Eve, of course, out of Adam to be the perfect complement for him. Because above all, the difference between man and the animals is man's relationship to God. Unlike the animals, he has the capacity to sin. So, I'm sorry, but if a dog bites you, remember it's your fault. Animals can't sin. You have. Now, on the other hand, we can also, as people, understand and appreciate God more fully, which can lead us to obey him and to regret it when we fail him. But take God out of the equation and we are, well, apes, or not a lot more than that. If everything is evolving and the only difference between us is an intellectual capacity, well, give it another X million years and the benches of the Houses of Parliament will be full of monkeys. Some people might suggest they already are. A famous English politician of a few years back, Michael Heseltine's nickname was Tarzan. But perhaps that's irrelevant. More seriously, we might say that animals don't go to church on Sundays. Do you see where I'm going? You see, man is made for 6 and 1 day cycles of work and refreshment, work and worship in that special sense. I know the whole of the Christian life is supposed to be worship, and is, if lived correctly, worship to God. But in a particular sense, man was made to work for 6 days, and then to have a day of rest, a day of different activities. Whereas animals are not made like that. See, animals don't work for 6 and then rest for 1. Man is unique, male and female, made in the image of God. A message I believe we need to preach with increasing urgency, and a message people need to hear. When primary school-aged children are saying that they don't like the way they look, so image-conscious have they become, or have been made by the society in which they live. And when at the same time others are pushing for gorillas to have the same rights as we have. How we need to hear that in Christ, the one who became a man for us, not a chimpanzee or any other kind of animal, but a man, that in Christ there is acceptance, whoever we are and whatever we look like, if we put our trust in him. Thank you again for listening. It's a letter from England. You can find it at emission.net each week or at the website protestantedigital.com. Goodbye for now.
Emisión.net